Hello, good evening, everyone. I hope you all are fit and healthy. You all are taking all precautions from the virus. I'm Aisha Siddiqui, and welcome to the channel of Arham College. We are doing the subject, Special English for the second year BA students. We have already completed half part of the sun rising poetry, where all things are included. We did about the poet, about whatever the author is trying to say in the poetry. That means little about the poetry, and in detail, line by line, we'll be doing today. What else we did is we did the character list, what all characters are included in the poetry. It is a very simple, easy to go poetry about the poet John Donne, who's talking to his beloved. He's talking to the sun that is rising in the morning, and he is very irritated because it's morning and he does not want to get up because he's with his loved one, right? And what all things he's talking to the sun, let's see. So what is he saying? I'm reading the poetry now. He's saying, busy old fool, unruly son. So this is the first line. I'll just read the full poetry for you all first and then later on explain it. Busy old fool, unruly son. Why does you thus, through windows and through curtains, call on us? Must you motions, lovers, seasons run? Then, saucy, pedantic wretch, go chide, late school boys and sour apprentices, go tell court huntsmen that the king will ride, call country ants to harvest offices, love all alike, no season knows no climate, nor hours, days, months, which are the rags of time, thy beams so revered and strong. Why should you think I could eclipse and cloud them with a wing? But that I would not lose her sight so long, if her eyes have not blinded thine. Look, and tomorrow late tell me whether both the Indias of spices and mine be where you left them or lie here with me. Ask for those kings whom you served yesterday, and you shall hear, all here in one bed lay. She's all states and all princes. I, nothing else is. Princes don't but play us compared to this. All honors mimic all wealthy alchemy. The sun are half as happy as we. In that the world contracted thus, thine age asks ease, and since your duties be to warm the world, that's done in warming us. Shine here to us, and you are everywhere. This bed is the center, and the walls is the sphere. Wow, what a beautiful poetry. I know the words are really difficult to understand what he's trying to say, but in short, in the whole poetry, he is actually praising the beloved and he's trying to tell the sun that why have you risen and go and do some other work, right? So I'll share my screen where the poetry we were going to do is okay, we'll be seeing the themes of the poetry of sun rising. Sorry, it is themes that we want to see. Okay. Paradoxes. Okay, what is it? What else is paradoxes? Because he sees. Okay, berating comic forces. This is all about his poetry, not about specific poetry. Then religion, death and the hereafter, love and both physical and spiritual. Right. So if you know that the sun rising is about a love, the spiritual and physical love that he's talking about. So we'll do this part of the poetry, right? So Don equates physical love and spiritual love in many of his works. To this end, Don often suggests that the love he has for a particular beloved in a particular poem is superior to that of others' love. In Dawn, loving someone is as much as a religious experience as a physical one. His love transcends mere physicality, and thus it is of a higher order than that of more lovers. In love, for example, Dawn begins with a traditional sounding love poem, but by the third stanza, the love has transformed the love between himself and his beloved into an abstract ideal which can be possessed absolutely and completely. What he's trying to say that in many of his poems, such as Sun Rising that we're doing, he often talks about his love, and he's saying the love that he's talking in a specific poetry is the best kind of love that nobody else can experience, right? So his love is the best kind of love that he wants to say. So there are a number of poetries, but we'll be doing the Sun Rising, right? Okay. So let's see the analysis of the poetry. I already read the poetry for you. We are just going to go through the analysis of the poetry. The poet asks the sun why it is shining and disturbing him and his beloved in the bed. So we already read this. Now, analysis. The Sun Rising is a 30-line poem in three stanzas, written with the poet as the speaker. So the poet itself is the speaker. The meter is irregular, does not have any rhyme scheme, ranging from 2 to 6 stresses per line in no fixed pattern. The longest lines are generally at the end of the three stanzas. But Dawn's focus here is not on perfect regularity in the poem, not on the rhyme scheme and on the stanza and ABAB schemes and all. The poet's tone is actually mocking and railing as it addresses the sun. So he's trying to make fun of the sun, covering an undercurrent of desperate, perhaps even obsessive love of towards his beloved. The poet personifies the sun as a busy old fool. So if you see in first line, he's saying busy old fool. So he asks why it is shining and disturbing him, who appears to be the two lovers in the bed. So he does not want to get disturbed by the sun. The sun is peeking through the curtains and the windows, he's saying in many of the lines of their bedroom, signaling that the morning has come and the night has ended. The speaker is very annoyed because he does not want to get up and he wants to be with his loved one, right? Just like Romeo and Juliet. The poet then suggests that the sun go off and do other things rather than disturbing him, such as go and tell the court huntsman that the day off for the king is to hunt. So he's shown a lot of activities that go and tell this one, go and tell that one, I mean, don't disturb me, right? So he's saying the first thing, go and tell the court's huntsman that the king has to hunt today, wake up the ants, then or to rush late boys that who are getting late to school. The poet wants to know why it is that the motions lover seasons run. What does this mean? He imagines a world or desires where he embraces his loved one are not relegated only to the night, but the lovers can make their own time. So he's saying that love is not that only we can enjoy, right? But even in the morning, he does not want the day to start and the work to start and all, right? But he just wants to be his with his loved one. So in the second stanza, sorry, the poet continues to mock the sun. Now he has not finished with mocking. He said, beams so are strong are nothing compared. So he's saying your sunlight will be very strong, but it is nothing as compared to my beloved one and the glory of my beloved one. He boasts that he could eclipse and cloud them, the sunbeam, with a wing. So he's saying that your power is not that much. My beloved power is so much that with a wing in the eye, with an eye, she can eclipse the cloud. That is not possible, but that is the way he is telling the poetry. So this is called metaphysical poetries, where he's comparing unnatural or impossible things with the beloved, right? Yet the lover doesn't want to lose her sight so long as a wing would take. So he does not even want to lose the sight of his beloved, even at the like in the tiny wing like that. The poet is emphasizing that the sun has no real power over him and his beloved, while he is the only one who chooses to allow the sun is because why it he can see his beloved's beauty. So he's saying that I don't even want to see the sun, but the only thing why I will require the sun is because I can see the beauty of my loved one because of the light of the sun, right? Then the lover then moves to claim if her eyes have not blinded, implies that his beloved's eyes are more brilliant than the sunlight. So he's saying that the sunlight that you're seeing is not that beautiful and good, but my beloved's eyes are much more beautiful than that, brilliant than that. This was a very standard love. I mean, a very Renaissance type of love. That means a very old love stories. Like you can see even in the old Bollywood songs, you can listen to old Bollywood songs where they are using so beautiful love lines for the beloved, right? Similarly, then what else he's saying? Indeed, the sun should tell me whether both the spices of mine were this whole line here. What does Don say here? He lists wondrous and exotic places. The Indias are the West and the East Indies, well known for in Don's time for their spices and precious metals. Why is he saying in this line? Where is the line gone? Whether both the Indias of spices and mine at the time of Dawn, actually, the spices were very famous of West and East Indies at his time. So he's telling that even those are not that precious than my beloved one. All here in one bed lays everything. All the beauties, all the spices that is so famous, all the precious metals, that is gold and all, everything is there with him in his bed. That is all the beautiful things of the world, which is the sun meets as it travels the world each day, are combined by his loved one in his bed. Then in the end, he's saying a hyperbole of the highest order is used. Hyperbole, that means talking out of the way. As usual, such an extreme comparison leads us to see a spiritual metaphor in the poem. So you can see a metaphor is where a thing cannot happen, but he is expressing or comparing two things just to show how much it is, right? As strong as the sun's light is, it pales in comparison to the spiritual light that shines, which brings man to love the divine. You see, not even the sun's light is that strong than the beloved's light on face. The strange process of reducing the entire world to the bed of the lovers reaches its zenith in the last stanza. So much of love is shown in the poetry. In the last stanza, it's reaching the heights of love, right? Where in the end of the poetry is saying that the bed is the world because his loved one is there with him, right? In that the world is contracted. Indeed, the sun needs not leave the room by shining on them. The final line contains a play that the earth was the center of the universe with the sun rotating around the earth. This bed thigh is the center and the walls is the sphere. What is he saying? This bed is actually the center. That means it's the world, and the whole walls of his room is the sphere. So everything is inside the room. That's why he does not want to get up. And gives ultimate, here what Don is saying, he's giving ultimate universal importance to his lover. So much of importance, my god, so special the girl must be, right? Making all the physical world around him just the subject to him. So just we'll go to the last part now. The sun, of course, will not heed a man's insults and orders. It will continue on its way each day, and one cannot wing it on out of existence. There is nothing that the poet can do to change the movements of the sun, right? When it should rise and when it should set. No matter how clever his comparisons are, from his perspective, the whole world is right there with him. Yet he knows that his perspective is limited, right? After so much of comparison, he knows that all this is not actually true, but he wants to explain this in order to show how much he loves his beloved one. So I hope you all understood this, and we'll be going to the glossary now. This was all about, okay, this glossary we don't need to see. I'm just going through this and I'll show you all the glossary. The first one is busy, as he in the line, the first line it is used, you busy old fool. So busy is somebody who is always working, right? Then does, dust, DOST is actually DOES in the olden language, right? Call on, pay a visit to. So just call on them. That means just ask them to visit our house, right? Then saucy is audacious. Audacious. So too much of importance. Pedantic, inclined to insist on strict to formal rules, especially in trivial matters. So pedantic is uh, too strict rules and regulations. Chide is to scold someone. Climb is the climate. Then art. In the olden language, art means hour. Contracted is duties given to them. So, and there are many more glossary words here you can refer to and also answer these questions. With this, we are done with everything of the sun rising. You all have understood. It is on a lighter note, the poetry, where all everything about the beloved is explained in a very, very, very metaphysical way. That is the things that cannot happen, but just to enhance the beauty of the beloved, right? So I hope you understood this poetry and you all will be able to answer it in your own words. So if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and keep watching the videos. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care.